So recently, to commemorate the 20th anniversary of the release of Reason 1.0, Reason Studios announced the Reason 1 Challenge, which I think is super cool. And this basically, what you're going to do is try and create a song using only the instruments and effects that were available in Reason 1.0 back 20 years ago. So what I've done in this video is make the sketch of my Reason 1.0 song, which I'm going to play for you in a minute, and we're going to walk through it. But what I want to do to kind of celebrate the 20th anniversary is actually create this song and finish it in a collaborative fashion. So I want you to leave comments down below about where you would go from here with the song. I don't have any drum fills in. I don't have any filter automation yet. I don't have any like risers or whooshes or anything like that. The song is like, 80% done, 70% done, and I want to finish it with you. So as you go through and listen to this song, please leave your suggestions for what I should do next in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe so you can see what we do. And in the next week or two, I'll put out a follow-up video based on your suggestions and recommendations. But before we go and listen to the song, let's just see what actually was included in Reason 1.0. So you've got the NN-19, a sampler, Subtractor, the only synth that was included, ReDrum, the drum programmer that plays samples, OctoRex, the loop player, and, Slice chopper. You've got the matrix sequencer, the 14.2 mixer, RV7 digital reverb twice, DDL1 digital delay, the foldback distortion from the D11, the envelope controlled filter, a chorus, flanger / phaser compressor, and 2-band EQ. So not a ton of choices, especially on the effects side and synthesis side, but some good samples. Also, before we go any farther, I do have a free Reason cheat sheet that will show you how to use all of the devices in Reason that are now included in Reason 11, not just these 1.0 Reason devices. So there's a link down below where you can get that cheat sheet for free, and it'll help speed up all of your reasoning. All right, let's jump in. All right, so here we are. We have the track. We're using a combination of pretty much all the instruments that were available back then. The ReDrum, several subtractors, a couple of NN-19s, a couple of Rex tools, and that's that. All right, let's take a listen to the song, then we'll break it down in more detail. And remember, be sure to leave your suggestions for what comes next. This is like kind of like a Chemical Brothers type. The first suggestion you might add in the comments is you need an ending. Yes, I do. Gonna add that. You might say, hey, maybe you need a riser here, or automate the filters in the breakdown. Or maybe, it's boring in the middle. Add another lead. I don't know what you want to say, but I do want to coordinate this with you. So please leave your comments below. I think this is going to be a lot of fun. Now I just want to walk you through kind of the instruments and synths and settings that we've got. So I'm just going to set a loop to this section here where pretty much everything is in. And let's go to the rack. We'll start with the drums. I'm basically just using the Chemical Kit 3 presets. I'm mostly like 99% using stock stuff. So I've just programmed in a drum beat. I've messed around a bit with the pitch of the drums and the panning and levels to make it hit a little harder. Added a little compression and a little EQ, unfortunately theoretically limited to these parametric EQs. And then just a little bit of reverb. We'll listen to it in and out. I think just for this, it adds a little more beef. I've also, I'm routing a separate out to the snare, and I've got a snare reverb as well. Just adds a little bit more there. I've also set it up so that I have on, so that's from send 1 here, it goes into this channel, the reverb. And send 2, I'm sending to a delay, which I will be able to use to quickly do some like old school style fills, for example, but I haven't programmed those in yet, and I would appreciate any ideas about what you think there. So for example, that would look something like maybe this. Not like that, like this. Or maybe like this. So, and I could set up multiple different delay lines and program that. So whatever you think about using those for fills. Then I've got 3 different basses going on here. One more kind of like a pad. So. This started with the FM pulse wave patch, but I've tweaked it quite a bit to make it more like a pad. I'm not actually using the unison, it just took too much life out of it. So let's listen with and without. So I lost the beefiness. But a little flanging, a little reverb, a little EQ. Then sort of a lower, we've got a lower bass here, which is again a tweaked version of the same bass, but down an octave and with quite a bit going on to change it from the original. This one actually does have the unison on to fatten it up a little bit. And we've got a big, fat parametric boost down in the low end. We've got it panned a little bit for width. And you notice this is more of a punch. Finally, we've got sort of a sub pad here, which is largely just the sub bass 2 preset, but fattened up a little bit. I've rolled off some of the high end and boosted the low end and some compression just to make it fatter. Here's a question for you guys actually. I mean, I absolutely 100% know how to sidechain in Reason, modern versions. Is there a way I could do sidechaining in Reason 1, limiting myself to just those tools? There's not an input on the compressor. I don't know that it's possible, but if you know of a way, just limiting myself to Reason 1 tools, leave that in the comments below as well. We've also just found it up with a clap simulator. And I could probably pan this off. Maybe let's even duplicate this just to fill up the thing even more. 1 pan left, 1 pan right, and we'll turn them both down. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm just going to detune this a little bit so that they'll sound a little different. Okay, so then we got those claps there. Maybe they'll have some reverb later on. I don't know. Then I've used a vibraphone for kind of one of the leads here. This is the stock vibraphone, but I've messed up the envelope and the filter quite a bit, so it's going to be a little squelchy. Caked it in some reverb and unison to make it kind of more distant. Also drop the octave to give it a more glitchy, lo-fi sound. And let's see if we want to, if this will bring it even more lo-fi by turning it into low bandwidth mode and high quality interpolation off. And we'll probably keep it on. And it basically doubled that sound, but with a xylophone that is going through two different delay lines a little bit, so you're getting sort of a stereo ping pong effect, a bit of flanging and a bit of reverb. And I've also pitched this sample up as opposed to pitching it down. And so together, it's a pretty subtle sound. I'll boost it for now. Start to kind of fill up and back the vibraphone a little bit. Not really the star of the show. I've taken a top loop here for the end part to just kind of even bang things up a little more and make it more exciting. And then to make that fit better in the mix, I've transposed it down a couple of pitches and also reduced the attack a little bit. So let's listen to those changes. Oh, I've also set auto pan on it using the LFO and syncing that to the pan. Not an extreme amount, but just enough to keep it busy in the stereo spectrum. Then we've got this phased string pad, which is going through a little bit of delay and a bit of reverb and some filtering. Next up, we've got two Subtractor leads, which I made from scratch. Kind of, here's one. Kind of a chippy thing almost. With this fold back distortion here, programmed, automated to go up and down. I need to do more automation on this song, but this sort of just adds a little bit of interest and movement, and we've got some reverb on it. Basically a slightly different synth that I programmed from scratch, but to complement this one. And so they're going to be playing the same unison line, just panned. But I'm using a bit of delay here on the second synth panned to the set of the original synth, so that it sort of sits more interestingly. Finally, we have a vocal sample in OctoRex, which I don't know if it's from Loop Masters or where I got this from originally, but it was in the key of A minor, and this song I think is probably in D major, but you know, harmonic minor's up a fifth, so A minor worked just fine, but I transposed it up an octave so that it would sound better, and applied some compression, some delay, and some reverb. So let's listen to it in its regular octave, and then we'll listen to the chops in the octave I transposed it to. And so, I mean, it sounds okay in the lower range, but I think it's just more interesting. High up, it sounds more hyped and exciting, and the tempo change, especially on this final slice here, I think just sounds really cool. So that's why I went with that. But we could, for example, experiment with duplicating it and trying both at the same time. I don't know how it would work, but let's just see real quick. These are the sort of suggestions you're welcome to make down below. And we'll bypass the effects on this one. Yeah, so it's not going to work because the timing is off. And I don't think we could do a thing where earlier in the song it's at a lower octave and then you pitch it up, because the timing is just going to be problematic, and I don't think it'll be as exciting. And that doesn't work at all. I don't even need to tell you why. But you know, we could duplicate it up high and do some processing on it to make it more interesting if we wanted to. That's a thing to consider. And then I've got another duplicate of the original drum kit where I've programmed a few fills, but not a lot. I will probably do more of that. If you want to, you know, suggest where to program fills or the type of fills, feel free to leave that in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. I'm really looking forward to making this song with you. Be sure to like and subscribe. And if you're going to participate in the Reason 1 challenge, I totally recommend it. This is a lot of fun. I'm kind of surprised.